In the 06A video on an overview of conditional structures, I gave an example of some pseudocode in which we took the system clock and looked at whether it was before noon, and we would tell the user good morning. If it was before 6 o'clock, we would say good afternoon, and after 6 p.m. we would say good evening. I want to go ahead and show you how to code that here in Flash. So a very simple project. I have one text box, which is a dynamic text box named greet_txt. And then in frame 1, I have an actions layer. And for the actions, I'm getting the current date and placing it into a date type variable that I'm calling now. And then I've got a variable of my hour, and it's going to equal now.getHours. That's going to pull whatever hour number it is out of our date called now. So that number is going to be a value between 0 and 23. 12 would be noon. So if my hour is less than 12, I'm going to place in our text box the phrase good morning. If that's not true, we're going to hit this else if and do another conditional evaluation, which is looking at if my hour is less than 18. That'd be 6 p.m. And if that's true, if it's less than 6 p.m., then we're going to display the phrase good afternoon. Otherwise, we're going to assume if neither of those are true, the else fork is going to assume that it's after 6 p.m. and we're going to display the phrase good evening. It is currently 3:35 in the afternoon, so when I test this, it should say good afternoon. And it does. So that's an example using an if, else, which gives us 3 different forks. Here's another example. I have a combo box, which is a Flash component, and we'll look at components much later in the semester. But for now, this combo box, let me go ahead and run it, has some values that are pre-programmed in it in terms of finding a campus, and I have SMCC, ASU, Arizona, and NAU. And if I choose one of these and click Find Team Name, it should tell me the name of that team. SMCC is the Cougars, Arizona Wildcats, and NAU Lumberjacks. So I'm simply using this combo box to make a selection from one of 4 possibilities. And the name of that combo box is simply called Campus List. It is a type movie clip. Then I have a button that is named Find Team_BTN, and then my output is in a text box called Team_TXT, and that is a dynamic text box. Let's look at the code that makes this work. So I have here an event listener for my button that is simply looking at the click event, and when the user clicks that button, it's going to run a function called Find Team, and here is my definition for Find Team. I've got a variable called campus, which is of type string, and I'm going to take the text as in campus list, that was our combo box, and convert that to an all uppercase. So here's my first if statement. If campus, that's the string that's in the campus list combo box, if campus equals SMCC, then I'm going to display the word Cougars. And if that's true, none of this other code is going to run. If that's not true, we come to the next else if, and here we're looking if campus equals ASU. And if it does, we're going to put the word Sun Devils in our Team_TXT text box. If that's not true, we hit the next else if, and here we're looking to see, does campus equal Arizona? And if it does, we'll put Wildcats in the text box. If that's not true, we're going to see if it equals NAU. And if it does, we'll put Lumberjacks in the text box. And if none of those are true, if somehow I could choose something in that list that didn't match any of those, and we could make that combo box editable so the user could enter a name in there. Then I'm simply going to say, I don't know, try again. Let me just run this one more time so you can now see this work having seen the code. So SMCC is the Cougars, ASU is the Sun Devils, Arizona is the Wildcats, and NAU is the Lumberjacks.